Welcome back to Hashtag That. I'm AJ Gugliata.
And I'm Jack Muscatello, taking a quick break from the Quinnipiac Chronicle to make my Q30 debut. From Kirby to the royal family, we're back with the latest entertainment news updates.
All that and more. From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Former film and television producer Harvey Weinstein was sentenced to 16 years in prison for rape on Thursday, February 23rd, following his conviction on 3 counts in December of last year. This is in addition to his first sentencing of 23 years in prison in 2020, stemming from investigations into public sexual misconduct and assault allegations from over 80 women, which kickstarted the hashtag #MeToo movement in 2017. After reports of Weinstein's behavior were first made public, the movement grew significantly, encouraging women in the industry to speak up about their harmful work environments, taking to social media platforms to spread word about dangerous behavior from male executives and other powerful figures. Per the court's ruling on Thursday, the 2 prison sentences will run consecutively, likely keeping Weinstein behind bars for the remainder of his life.
Woody Harrelson has caused controversy on Saturday Night Live this past week by using his opening monologue to discuss his stance on COVID mandates. In his almost 7-minute monologue, he ended by saying, quote, "So the movie goes like this. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all of the politicians and force the people in the world to stay locked in their homes. And people can only come out if they take out the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over." End quote. Fans of the show took their frustration to social media. This was Harrelson's 5th time on SNL, making him part of the 5-Timers Club.
The royal family is set to break from tradition with King Charles III's coronation ceremony later this year. Prince George, 9-year-old grandson of King Charles III, is expected to be included in a larger role than normal for the coronation. Per reports from representatives to the royal family, Charles and his wife, Queen Camilla, want to include George alongside Camilla's 5 grandchildren, who are not directly related to the House of Windsor, within a, quote, blended family, end quote, dynamic for the coronation. Per report from the palace, this choice will, quote, reflect the monarch's role today and look towards the future, end quote, and expand the ceremony into a more modern framework. However, organizers for the concert portion of the ceremony have found it difficult to schedule A-list artists to perform, with notable talents like Sir Elton John, Harry Styles, and Adele all declining invitations due to their busy schedules. The coronation is scheduled for May 6th of this year.
Warner Bros. Has reached a deal to make multiple new movies based on the Lord of the Rings movie franchise. During the earnings call this past Thursday, it was announced that it will be produced by WB label New Line Cinema. While no directors have been announced yet, Peter Jackson, the original trilogy's director, said, quote, "Warner Brothers and Embracer have kept us in the loop every step of the way. We look forward to speaking with them further to hear their vision for the franchise moving forward." End quote. The 3 movies have brought in over $3 billion in the box office. With the world of J.R.R. Tolkien being expanded with the release of the Hobbit film trilogy, as well as Amazon's Ring of Power TV series, lots of eyes will be on these new films to see if they can replicate the success the rest did.
Quinnipiac alumni Tyler Toledo was featured during The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon's Perm Week. Here with an exclusive interview with Tyler is Mason Glod.
healthy changes. Big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at Talk About.
What's up, hashtag? It's Alex, and I'm going to be breaking down NF's new song Hope and what this means for the rest of its album. But let's get right into it. After a year-long hiatus, rapper NF has returned, and in a big way. On February 16th, he dropped Hope, announcing his return and a brand new 13-track studio album by the same name. However, with Hope comes a very different NF than we're used to. Historically, NF's music has always taken a darker or more negative outlook on his life, resulting in him becoming a beacon for those who have similar struggles of depression, self-doubt, and wrestling with faith. This new song, however, is more about hope rather than his struggles. The music video begins with NF asking what success really means to him as he battles his past self. And I mean quite literally, with there being two Nates, one dressed in white and the other one who represents his fears in black. As the battle ramps up, we see multiple different references to his past self and also to his past music, including cameos and his iconic black balloon motif. Nate himself, for a large part of the video, holds a map of hope in reference to the 2019 video, The Search. Lyrically, he also calls out responding to his message he made in that song, saying, quote, "I'm coming, don't lose faith," end quote. We quite literally are thrown back into the mansion where he was trapped in for so long as he tries and manages to break through these walls. And the reason for this has to do largely with the birth of his son, which was in 2021. Over the course of this artist's career, we have followed his journey from childhood to now, both physically and emotionally. Thus, the introduction of his son to his music and the fact that he's now a father now makes sense and represents the shift he has on the outlook of his life. At the end of the music video, we can now see a battle between the two Nates as they're fighting for control. One of the Nates is signified by a black smirk on his face, and the other is just his normal self. We can also see lyrically how they're fighting for control. Quote, "You'll never evolve, I know I can change, we are not enough, we are not the same," end quote. Overall, this song sets the tone for what will be an album that is mostly about self-growth, forgiveness, and of course, hope. Which, although is a big departure from his previous music, it shows his growth as not only a person but also a musician, and it makes an understandable and satisfying full circle moment. The full album is dropping April 7th, and we will have to see what his audience thinks and if they will accept this new NF or not. But that's all I have for today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Cops watching online activities may seem excessive to some, but may be advantageous to others. A tiny police force can't possibly keep an eye on everything that happens in games, but some players might enjoy the effort. That's all I have for this week's #OneInTheWorld. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Michael. The Perfect Match on Netflix features a lot of familiar reality stars, and here to give us the rundown is Lane Dubin.
Hey, it's Lane. Make way for Netflix's newest romance reality TV show, Perfect Match. I'm going to discuss what the show is all about and break down some of the biggest personalities the show has to offer. Let's get into it. Take some of the biggest personalities from other Netflix shows like The Circle, Love is Blind, The Ultimatum, Selling Tampa, Too Hot to Handle, 20-somethings Austin, and The Mole, and you get Perfect Match. The dating show tries to combine competition with strategy, with only one couple winning the grand prize. In Perfect Match, no one is ever safe. You can come and go just like that. But now, let's talk about the cast. To start, we got Nick Lachey hosting, who isn't afraid to poke fun at NSYNC while being a member of the boy band 98 Degrees himself. Next, we have to talk about Francesca from season 1 of Too Hot to Handle. Known for dazzling guys and gals with her looks and breaking rules on her own show, it is safe to say that Francesca has had her fair share of drama and character development through it all. Now, a few years later, we're seeing her on Perfect Match. Her bisexuality makes things complicated with old flame Damien from Love is Blind season 1, as Abby from 20-somethings Austin comes in later episodes with her eye on Francesca. Francesca isn't afraid of what anyone thinks of her, whether it's losing thousands of dollars on Too Hot to Handle or breaking up strong matches on Perfect Match. Next up is Bartise from season 3 of Love is Blind. With his lackluster relationship on Love is Blind, we see history repeat itself during his time on Perfect Match. Bartise blindsided Nancy at the altar, which ruffled some people's feathers. Fast forward to Perfect Match, and you can see Bartise doing the same thing to Izzy from season 3 of Too Hot to Handle. Bartise led both of these girls on, only to flip a switch when it came down to making a big decision. Both girls claimed that Bartise blindsided them on their respective shows. Lastly, we have Chase from Too Hot to Handle season 2. While already leaving a bad taste in fans' mouths the first time around on his own show, he brings that same energy into the Perfect Match house. Like Bartise, Chase had his fair share of misleading girls into thinking he likes them on both Too Hot to Handle and Perfect Match, when in reality, it's all a game to him and he's gonna play it. His reign as a house villain on Perfect Match soon caught up with him as his selfishness led him to leaving the house. There are only 8 episodes up right now of Perfect Match on Netflix, and the last 4 episodes are set to premiere tomorrow, February 28th. It is anyone's game, and I'm excited to see what comes next. That's all from me, and sending it back to the desk. There are only 8 episodes right now up on Netflix of Perfect Match, and the last 4 episodes are set to release tomorrow. It is anyone's game, and I'm super excited to see how the show ends. That's all from me, and we'll see you after this commercial break.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced House Hunter. Now get the tips you need to get on track and ace your
Within a New York Minute. And here to fill us in on all the latest East Coast entertainment news is Emma Dinnan.
Thanks, guys. Jumping right into the first story. The premiere performance of the revival of the Broadway show Parade, which covers the story of the lynching of an innocent Jewish man by an anti-Semitic mob, took place Tuesday. At the premiere, a group of anti-Semitic picketers waited outside, heckling audience members in line and spewing words of anti-Semitic hate, as well as claiming that the main character of the show, Leo Frank, was a child murderer and pedophile. Leading actor Ben Platt says this after the event, quote, "If you don't know about it, I encourage you to look up the story and most importantly, encourage you to come see the show. And it was definitely very ugly and scary, but a wonderful reminder of why we're telling this particular story and how special and powerful art and particularly theater can be. And just made me feel extra special, extra grateful to be the one that gets to tell this particular story and to carry on this legacy of Leo," end quote. What do you guys think will be the outcome of this event? Will we start to see more hate in Broadway?
It's sad to see that this has become more common recently on Broadway, and especially with the Anti-Defamation League saying that anti-Semitic attacks are on the rise. What do you think, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, this is a terrible thing that happened. According to People.com, the article said that neo-Nazis were spotted at the protests, just to add to the seriousness of the protests. But I think for sure they need to add more security at Broadway, especially for this show, if this is going to be a thing that's happening.
What do you think,
Emma, what do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I definitely think they're going to need a lot more security when the real premiere of the show actually hits the stage, but I do hope to not see much more hate in Broadway. I think it's definitely a good example of why we need this musical and to tell the stories of people like this. Moving on, the hit musical Sweeney Todd is making a comeback. Starting in February 26th, the show about a demon barber will be previewing, and its official Broadway reopening is set for March 26th. For the first time since 1979, the show will feature a 26-piece orchestra and will be directed by no other than the Hamilton director Thomas Kail. The star-studded show will bring people from all different Broadway backgrounds. The show will star Josh Groban alongside Kinky Boots and Legally Blonde the musical star Annalyn Ashford. More than just that, the show will also feature Jordan Fisher, popular Disney actor, and Gaten Matarazzo from Netflix's series Stranger Things. Do you guys think the revival will be successful, and do you think Broadway is going to continue to revive shows instead of making new ones?
Well, Jack, we got Jordan Fisher and Gaten. That's a stacked cast, I gotta say. But also, in terms of reviving the older Broadway shows, we've seen this happen a lot with movies recently. You know, I talked about Lord of the Rings is coming back, No Way Home, they brought back the old Spider-Man actors.
Right.
Like, it's a thing that they're doing for movies, so it makes sense that they would want to do it for Broadway now.
Yeah, and especially since it's a big moneymaker too. We're seeing a lot of shows come back and make remakes and reruns as well. So it's really nice to see that Broadway's taking that step too. What do you think, Emma?
I completely agree. I think that revivals are going to be the next big hits, and I also just don't think we've seen any brand new musicals in a long time. We've seen a lot of movie remakes and a lot of movies and books turning into musicals, so I think that this is going to kind of continue to be the trend until something as new and fresh as Hamilton kind of comes to set the scene again. Finally, the Jonas Brothers are hitting the big stage. Announced on Friday, the Jonas Brothers will be having a 5-night Broadway residency at the Marquis Theater. Each night of the show will be dedicated to a different one of their 6 albums, including Jonas Brothers, A Little Bit Longer, Lines, Vines, and Trying Times, Happiness Begins, and their forthcoming album release, The Album. This show will take place on March 14th through 18th. But Nick Jonas is no stranger to the Broadway stage. He portrayed many roles, such as a child in Les Mis, Beauty and the Beast, and Annie Get Your Gun. More recently, he filmed the upcoming film Jersey Boys, starring as lead Frankie Valli. What do you guys think about the Jonas Brothers going to Broadway? Will this residency be a hit?
Well, I do know, AJ, that Ticketmaster has already announced on Twitter that there's a huge warning for fans not being able to get enough tickets. What do you think?
Oh no, hopefully not another whole Taylor Swift thing. But no, they've been very popular. They got their Hollywood Walk of Fame just at the end of January, so it's going to be a big hit for sure. But yeah, Emma, what else?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the Jonas Brothers are having a huge comeback. They're obviously a big nostalgic hit for kids our age and other teenagers, as well as people even older than us and parents like them. And the new teens coming up in the world are also huge fans of the Jonas Brothers. So I think this will definitely attract a lot of fans. That's all I have for this week's In a New York Minute. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced House Hunter. Now get the tips you need to get on track and ace your
This week, Marcus Ferreira is giving us the inside look at the new game Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe. What do you have for us, Marcus?
Hey hashtag, it's Marcus Ferreira. I've been keeping busy as just 3 days ago on the 24th, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe released on the Nintendo Switch. Being a remake of Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which released on the Wii back in 2011, there's quite a lot of new and improved content to talk about, so let's get right into it. The game begins by throwing you into the main story, where you'll immediately notice that the graphics are massively improved now that the game is on an HD console. From the sprawling level backgrounds to Kirby himself, the game looks gorgeous all around. Speaking of Kirby, he still has all the copy abilities he had in the original game, alongside 2 brand new ones. Sand, which lets you attack with anything from simple sand waves to entire sand castles, and Mecha, which basically turns you into a robot. Like the original game, the whole thing is playable with up to 4 friends. You can play as Kirby, King Dedede, Meta Knight, or Bandana Waddle Dee. Running through the main story with my roommate was a blast, but it wasn't the only place for us to have fun. Welcome to Merry Magoland, an entire amusement park new to the remake that has tons to do. Built by Magalore, the mischievous mage who you help in the game's story, it hosts 11 minigames that can be played alone or with friends. Only one of them, Ninja Dojo, is actually from the original game. The remaining 10 are all either completely new or returning from other Kirby games. Some of my favorites include Egg Catcher from Kirby's Adventure, Bomb Rally from Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, and Crackety Hack from Kirby and the Amazing Mayor. Playing minigames and completing missions will earn you stamps that can unlock helpful items and masks to customize your characters with. There are masks of characters from across the entire series, but you can always keep it simple and just give Kirby the Kirby mask. This amusement park isn't the only place you'll find yourself lost in, however. Once you beat the main game, you'll unlock Magalore Epilogue, the Interdimensional Traveler, an entirely new mode that takes place after the main story. In it, you play as the otherworldly wizard Magalore, who has found himself lost deep in the mysterious another dimension. He plays a bit differently from Kirby and starts off extremely weak. You'll have to defeat enemies to upgrade your abilities, which will certainly be necessary, as this mode is definitely tougher than the regular game. This epilogue isn't the only mode you unlock after beating the story though, as modes like the Arena, where you fight every boss in the game, and Extra Mode, which is the main game but significantly harder, do return from the original game. Now, I would love to talk about some really minor new additions, like how the game's music player color codes its notes to signify which composer wrote each song, but that's all I have time for today. Whether you've played the original game or have never played a Kirby game before, Return to Dreamland Deluxe is a ton of fun and certainly the definitive version of the game, and I highly recommend it. I'm Marcus Ferreira, back to you guys at the desk.
Today we have a new game called Hashtag Box Office Breakdown, where Jack and I will discuss which movie grossed more at the box office. Let's get right into it. Alright, so we got Jurassic World versus The Force Awakens. Well, I know The Force Awakens grossed to over $2 billion, I believe.
That's correct.
And Jurassic World, I think, is over $1 billion. So I'm going to have to go with Force Awakens for this one. What do you got?
I'm going to go with Force Awakens as well. I know it did really popular in 2015. Let's see what it is.
We agree. Let's see. There you go.
All right. Just over $2 billion.
Just over 2. But they were close, but it was Force Awakens. All right, so for the next 2, we got The Dark Knight versus Fast and Furious 7.
I'm going to go with Fast and Furious 7 on this one. I know it was really popular because of Paul Walker's death, so I'm going to go with Furious 7.
Of course, Dark Knight's my favorite movie of all time, mainly because of Heath Ledger, obviously, the best Joker. I mean, let's see. The Dark Knight, I think, grossed around $800 million worldwide, I want to say.
It was over $1 billion worldwide, I do know that.
Was it?
It was just over $1 billion. Yeah.
Okay,
it was first in the franchise to do that.
Fast and Furious, usually those movies, you know, popcorn flicker, they usually go around $1 billion. So I'm gonna say Dark Knight. I'm locking in Dark Knight.
I'm gonna say Furious 7. Let's see.
Okay, let's see.
Ooh, I edged you out. 1.5.
1.5 for Furious 7.
It was really popular that year.
Way too much for that.
All right, and moving on to new artists to watch. Wallace Hannah Watanabe, known professionally as Wallace, took a big step into the public spotlight with the release of her EP album, 90s American Superstar, in 2022. The singer-songwriter, who employs a pop-rock style in her latest work akin to Weezer and Paramore, signed in 2021 with Dirty Hit Records, who currently serves as the main label for the 1975 and other alternative artists. Look out for her in the indie rock scene this year, as she is set to release a new list of singles in late 2023.
Natalie Holt, a female film composer, had a breakout year in 2022. She composed the music for the Disney Plus original Obi-Wan Kenobi as well as the Loki series on Disney Plus. She was supposed to score Batgirl in 2023 before the film was canceled by its studio. With her leading these big-name projects, I'm excited to see what she will do next. Keep an eye out for her name during the credits of the next film that you watch.
That's all we have this week on #that.
Make sure to follow us on our social media accounts to stay up to date.
I'm Jack Muscatello.
And I'm AJ Gugliotta. Thank you for watching #that from the producers, talent, and everyone watching hard behind the scenes. Thank you for watching. We will see you again next week.